Imagine waking up one day, feeling a heavy weight on your heart. You look around at your life and see a series of unanswered questions. Maybe you've lost a loved one, or perhaps you're just staring at the ceiling, unsure of what each day brings. It's a common struggle, a feeling of emptiness that many people experience at some point in their lives. In these moments of confusion and searching for purpose, we often turn to something greater than ourselves. We seek solace, inspiration, and sometimes a sense of direction. For many, that guide is Jesus. In times of doubt and fear, Jesus offers hope. His teachings offer insight into the profound mysteries of heaven and hell. Jesus spoke about these concepts not to scare us but to help us understand the importance of our choices in life. He understood human struggles because he experienced them himself. As we navigate our own trials, we can find comfort in his words. Think about it, when Jesus talked about heaven, he described it as a place of peace where love reigns supreme. He often painted vivid pictures to explain what awaits us beyond this life. Through parables, he shared stories that connected with everyday experiences, making complex ideas accessible and relatable. When he spoke about hell, it was less about punishment and more about the painful consequences of separation from God. These teachings challenge us to reflect on how we live each day and how our actions impact not just ourselves but also those around us. Jesus knew that people struggled with making sense of their lives in a world filled with chaos and uncertainty. In moments when people felt lost or misunderstood, he reached out with compassion, not condemnation. The story of the prodigal son illustrates this perfectly. It shows that no matter how far we stray, there is always a way back to love and forgiveness. As you listen to his teachings, consider how they resonate with your own journey. Have you ever felt like you are wandering in the dark? Like you're searching for answers but feel too overwhelmed to find them? Jesus invites you to bring those struggles into the light. He assures us that we are never truly alone, there is always hope beyond despair. With this understanding, let's dive deeper into what Jesus really said about heaven and hell. As we explore his words, let them inspire you to reflect on how you want to live your life today, knowing that each choice you make can lead you closer to love, both now and in the future. Your journey towards understanding begins here. Now that we've touched on the feelings of confusion and the search for hope, let's take a moment to introduce the incredible figure at the center of this journey, Jesus Christ. Born over 2,000 years ago, Jesus was not just a man, he was a teacher, a healer, and a beacon of light for countless people. His life and teachings continue to resonate today, transcending time and culture. Jesus traveled through towns and villages, sharing messages that were revolutionary for his time. His words were filled with love and compassion, emphasizing the importance of treating others with kindness and respect. He spoke about forgiveness and challenged people to look beyond their differences. In every story he told, whether it was about a lost sheep or a mustard seed, he illustrated larger truths about life, love, and our connection to one another. Why do his words still matter? Because they speak to the core of our human experience. Jesus understood our struggles, our doubts, our fears, and our longing for connection. He offered a profound vision of what life could be like when we are anchored in love. His teachings invite us to see beyond our immediate realities and into the possibilities of grace and redemption. One of the most important aspects of his teachings is how he addressed the concepts of heaven and hell. In many ways, these ideas were not just about what happens after we die but how we choose to live right now. When Jesus spoke about heaven, he described it as a kingdom, a place where love flourishes and where we can be in close relationship with God. It's a beautiful imagery of peace that invites us to strive for goodness in our lives. Conversely, his discussions about hell weren't meant to scare us into submission, rather, they were warnings about what it means to be separated from that divine love. They serve as reminders that our choices matter. The way we treat ourselves and each other can lead us closer to light or deeper into darkness. Jesus wanted us to understand that each action we take has consequences that extend beyond this life. As we explore what Jesus really said about heaven and hell, we delve deeper into these core messages that affect how we navigate our lives today. Let's reflect on how these teachings can inspire us to lead lives filled with purpose and meaning, a journey toward understanding not just what lies ahead but how we can embody love in the present moment. Now let's embark on this exploration together, weaving through the wisdom he shared so long ago while allowing it to touch our hearts today. As we dive deeper into what Jesus taught about heaven and hell, it's essential to explore the biblical context of his words. Jesus often used parables, simple stories with profound meanings, to convey deep spiritual truths. These stories were relatable to the people of his time and continue to resonate with us today. One of the most powerful parables is the story of the rich man and Lazarus, found in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16. In this tale, we meet a rich man who lived in luxury and a poor man named Lazarus who was covered in sores and longed for scraps from the rich man's table. When both men die, their fates are reversed. Lazarus is taken to heaven, resting by Abraham's side, while the rich man finds himself in torment in hell. This parable serves as a striking reminder that our earthly status does not determine our eternal destiny. Jesus uses this story to highlight how our actions and attitudes towards others matter. The rich man had every opportunity to help Lazarus during his life but chose to ignore his suffering. In contrast, Lazarus, despite his hardships, was faithful and ultimately received comfort in heaven. This story teaches us about compassion and the consequences of neglecting those in need. Another significant parable is that of the sheep and the goats, found in Matthew 25. Here, Jesus describes a scene where people are separated based on their actions towards others, specifically how they treated those who were hungry, thirsty, or in need. The sheep are praised for their kindness and generosity, while the goats are condemned for their indifference. This powerful illustration emphasizes that our treatment of others directly reflects our relationship with God. Through these parables, Jesus reveals deeper truths about heaven and hell. He teaches us that heaven is not just a reward for good behavior but a state of being close to God through love and kindness. On the other hand, hell represents a separation from God, a painful consequence of living in self-interest without love or compassion for others. These stories remind us that life on earth is filled with choices that shape our spiritual journey. Each decision we make has lasting effects, both on ourselves and on those around us. When we choose to act with love and empathy, we align ourselves with the values of heaven. Conversely, when we ignore the needs of others or act selfishly, we step away from that divine connection. As we reflect on these teachings, let's consider how they apply to our lives today. Are there moments when we've turned away from helping others? How can we embody the love Jesus showed us? With these questions in mind, let's continue exploring his words and how they guide us toward a life filled with purpose and connection. As we continue our exploration of Jesus' teachings, let's take a moment to focus on the beautiful picture he painted of heaven. When Jesus spoke about heaven, he often described it not just as a distant place we go after we die, but as a realm filled with peace, joy, and the loving presence of God. Imagine a place where there is no pain or sorrow, only happiness and love. In the Gospel of John, Jesus tells us, "In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you?" This imagery invites us to visualize heaven as a welcoming home where each person has their own special space. It reflects the idea that heaven is designed for everyone and that God desires an intimate relationship with each of us. Jesus also spoke about heaven using comforting metaphors. He referred to it as a feast, emphasizing abundance and joy. In one parable, he describes a great banquet where everyone is invited, especially those who feel left out or marginalized in life. This reveals that heaven is not just for the righteous but for anyone who seeks connection with God. In addition to being a place of joy, heaven signifies peace. Think about how often we feel overwhelmed by life's challenges, stress from work, worries about relationships, or fears about the future. Jesus reassures us that in heaven, these burdens are lifted away. The book of Revelation beautifully captures this concept when it says there will be no more tears or suffering. It's a promise that reminds us we will find true rest in God's presence. Moreover, being with God in heaven means experiencing an unbreakable bond of love. Jesus teaches that when we enter this sacred space, we will finally understand the depth of God's love for us, a love so profound that it surpasses all understanding. This connection brings fulfillment and joy beyond our imagination. So why does all this matter for our lives today? Understanding what Jesus said about heaven encourages us to live with hope and purpose. If we know there is a beautiful place waiting for us filled with love and peace, it can change how we approach our daily lives. We can strive to create moments of joy and connection here on earth, by showing kindness to others, fostering relationships built on love, and sharing hope with those around us. As we reflect on these teachings about heaven, let them inspire you to seek out joy in your life and extend love to others. Think about how you can bring a little piece of heaven into your everyday interactions. Let's carry this vision forward as we continue exploring what Jesus taught about hell, where understanding those contrasting realities can deepen our appreciation for the gift of heaven. As we continue our exploration of Jesus' teachings, it's important to turn our attention to a more challenging topic: hell. While Jesus spoke of heaven as a place of love and peace, his words about hell serve as a warning about the consequences of living without compassion and connection to God. Jesus often described hell not merely as a place of physical torment but rather as a state of separation from God. This idea is unsettling, but it is essential to grasp what he meant. In life, our choices create pathways that can either draw us nearer to God or push us away from him. When we live in ways that dismiss love, kindness, and empathy, we risk entering into that separation. One powerful parable that illustrates this concept is the story of the rich man and Lazarus, which we previously discussed. After death, the rich man finds himself in torment while Lazarus enjoys comfort in heaven. This separation reflects the consequences of their choices during life. The rich man had every opportunity to help Lazarus but chose to ignore him. His actions led him to a fate where he was cut off from God's grace. This parable serves as a stark reminder that our refusal to act with compassion can lead us to spiritual emptiness. In another instance, Jesus spoke about the concept of outer darkness, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. This imagery conveys a sense of anguish and regret. It underscores the reality that when we close ourselves off from love, whether through selfishness or indifference, we miss out on the fullness of life that God offers us. What's crucial to understand is that Jesus' teachings about hell are not intended to instill fear but rather to encourage reflection on our daily choices. Each act of kindness or compassion draws us closer to heaven, while each selfish choice can lead us further away from God's love. It highlights the importance of how we treat others. Every interaction can either build connections or create barriers. As we think about these teachings, let them inspire us to look inward and examine our lives. Are there areas where we've turned away from compassion? How can we make different choices that align more closely with the loving example Jesus set for us? In recognizing our potential for connection or separation, we can actively choose paths that embody love and understanding. The message is clear: we have the power to shape our spiritual destinies through the choices we make each day. By embracing love and extending compassion to those around us, we not only bring a piece of heaven into our lives but also avoid the painful distance that comes with neglecting our relationships with others and with God. As we reflect on these important truths about hell, let's carry forward this understanding and allow it to guide our actions in life. The journey doesn't end here. Let's continue exploring how embracing these teachings can lead us toward a more connected and fulfilling existence. As we reflect on Jesus' teachings about heaven and hell, it's essential to connect these profound messages to our everyday lives. Many people struggle with embodying the love and compassion that Jesus exemplified, facing challenges in forgiveness, understanding, and connection. Let's explore some real-life stories that illustrate these struggles and the potential for redemption. Consider the story of Maria, a woman who faced great pain when her sister chose to cut ties with their family due to a misunderstanding. For years, Maria held on to resentment and anger, feeling betrayed by someone she once felt so close to. However, one day she remembered Jesus' teaching about forgiveness, how he emphasized its importance in our lives. Taking a deep breath, Maria decided to reach out. She sent a heartfelt message expressing her love and desire to reconcile. This act of vulnerability sparked a conversation that had been dormant for too long. They both shared their hurt feelings and realized that miscommunication had fueled their separation more than any deliberate action. Through this process of forgiveness, they began to rebuild their relationship, illustrating the power of Jesus' words in action. Love can heal even the deepest wounds. Similarly, let's look at the story of James, a man who struggled with addiction for many years. He often felt ashamed and disconnected from loved ones and his community, fearing they would never accept him again. The distance he felt was akin to the separation described in Jesus' teachings on hell, a reality where isolation thrives in darkness. However, one day he found himself at a support group where others spoke openly about their struggles and triumphs. Inspired by their bravery, James mustered the courage to share his own story. As he opened up about his journey toward recovery, he discovered an overwhelming sense of acceptance from those around him. Their compassion mirrored the love of God that Jesus spoke about, a reminder that no one is beyond redemption. These stories highlight how challenging it can be to live out Jesus' teachings amidst real-life struggles. Each situation reminds us that while it's easy to feel alone or separated from God during difficult times, reaching out with compassion can help bridge those gaps, not only in our relationships but also within ourselves. As we navigate our own challenges, whether they involve forgiveness or seeking connection, let us remember Jesus' example of love and empathy. These teachings encourage us not just to seek heaven as a future promise but also to create pockets of that divine love here on earth through our actions. So as you reflect on these stories today, think about your own life. Are there areas where you find it hard to forgive? Is there someone you need to reach out to? Allow the messages of compassion and connection inspired by Jesus' words to guide you towards healing and joy. Let's carry this spirit forward as we continue exploring how his teachings can transform our daily lives into reflections of heaven itself. As we delve deeper into the lessons Jesus shared through his parables, let's explore how these timeless stories continue to resonate in our lives today. Parables were more than just simple tales. They were profound teachings designed to prompt us to reflect on our actions, relationships, and what it truly means to live in alignment with God's love. One of the most powerful parables is the story of the Good Samaritan, found in the Gospel of Luke. In this tale, Jesus tells of a man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho who is attacked by robbers, beaten, and left for dead. A priest and a Levite pass him by without offering help, but then a Samaritan, someone from a group despised by the Jewish community, stops and shows compassion. He tends to the wounded man's injuries and takes him to an inn, ensuring he receives care. This parable beautifully illustrates Jesus' message about compassion transcending societal barriers. It challenges us to consider, who are the Samaritans in our lives? Who do we overlook because of biases or preconceived notions? Today, we might see good Samaritans in those who extend kindness regardless of differences, whether cultural, racial, or social. For example, think about someone volunteering at a homeless shelter or advocating for marginalized communities. These individuals embody the spirit of the Good Samaritan, recognizing that love knows no boundaries. By choosing to act with compassion and empathy, even when it's inconvenient, they reflect the essence of heaven here on earth. Another story relevant to our understanding of heaven and hell is that of the prodigal son. In this parable, a young man requests his inheritance early and squanders it in wild living. When he hits rock bottom, he returns home hoping for forgiveness from his father. Instead of anger or disappointment, his father greets him with open arms and joyfully celebrates his return. This story highlights not only forgiveness but also unconditional love, a core aspect of God's nature. It reminds us that regardless of our past mistakes or failures, no matter how far we drift, we are always welcomed back into God's embrace. It speaks volumes about redemption. Everyone has the potential to return home. These parables teach us that heaven is represented through acts of love, kindness, and forgiveness. They challenge us to consider how we respond to others in our daily lives. Is there someone who needs our compassion? Are we willing to reach out beyond our comfort zones? As we reflect on these messages today, let's ask ourselves, how can we be modern-day Good Samaritans? How can we cultivate a spirit of forgiveness that mirrors God's love for us? By centering our lives around these teachings, we not only draw closer to heaven but also become agents of change in a world often filled with division. Let's carry this call for compassion forward as we continue exploring how practicing these lessons can help us create connections rooted in love while transforming both ourselves and those around us into reflections of divine grace. As we wrap up our exploration of Jesus' teachings about heaven and hell, it's vital to take a moment for emotional reflection. These profound messages aren't just ancient words, they resonate deeply with our current lives and the choices we make every day. So, let's pause and consider how his teachings apply to our own journeys. Think about the parables we've discussed, the Good Samaritan, the prodigal son, and others. Each story carries a message that invites us to examine our hearts and our relationships with those around us. Are we embodying the compassion that Jesus exemplified? Reflect for a moment, is there someone in your life who is in need of kindness or forgiveness? Perhaps it's a friend you've lost touch with or a family member you've had a disagreement with. Jesus teaches us that reaching out to those who are hurting or estranged can lead not only to healing for them but also for ourselves. Forgiveness can feel daunting, but remember the joy of the Father in the story of the prodigal son, his joy at welcoming back someone he loved unconditionally. Now, let's think about the moments when we have been like the priest or Levite in the Good Samaritan parable, passing by those in need without offering help. Have there been times when we've turned away from people who needed our support because it was easier to ignore their struggles? Reflecting on these experiences can be uncomfortable, but it's an essential step toward growth and change. Consider your choices each day. Are they leading you closer to God and the values of heaven? Every act of love and kindness brings us nearer to that divine connection. Conversely, moments of indifference can create distance, much like what Jesus described as hell, a state of separation from God's love. As you reflect on your life, ask yourself, how am I nurturing my relationships? Am I fostering connections rooted in love, or am I allowing bitterness or misunderstandings to drive wedges between myself and others? It's never too late to choose compassion over resentment. Let's also think about how we can be modern-day Good Samaritans in our communities. Are there ways to reach out and help those who are marginalized or struggling? Acts of kindness don't have to be monumental. Even small gestures, like a smile or a helping hand, can make a world of difference. In this journey of reflection, remember that you are never alone. Jesus' teachings remind us that we can always turn back to Him for guidance and strength. By embracing His messages of love, forgiveness, and compassion, we can not only transform our own lives but also create ripples of positive change in the lives of others. As we carry these reflections forward, let's commit to living in ways that reflect heaven on earth through our actions and relationships. Allow His words to inspire you daily, shaping not just your path but also illuminating the way for those around you. This is the essence of living out Jesus' teachings in our everyday lives, transforming struggles into opportunities for growth and connection. As we consider how to apply Jesus' teachings about heaven and hell to our daily lives, it's important to focus on practical steps that can inspire us to live with intention. The messages of love, kindness, and compassion are not just meant for reflection, they call us to action in our everyday interactions. First, let's talk about kindness. One simple yet powerful way to embody Jesus' message is through small acts of kindness. Whether it's holding the door for someone, offering a compliment, or helping a neighbor with their groceries, these little gestures can create ripples of positivity in the world around us. Imagine if everyone committed to performing just one act of kindness each day, how transformative that would be. As Jesus taught, every bit of love shared brings us closer to the essence of heaven. Next, consider the importance of community service. There are countless opportunities around us to serve those in need. Whether you volunteer at a local food bank, participate in community cleanup days, or help at shelters, these actions go beyond mere charity, they reflect the heart of Jesus' teachings. Serving others helps bridge gaps and build connections that mirror the fellowship we see in heaven. It's a practical application of compassion that enriches both the giver and receiver. Another meaningful step is practicing forgiveness. Holding on to grudges only weighs us down. Take a moment to think about someone you may need to forgive, maybe it's a friend who hurt you or even yourself for past mistakes. Reaching out and extending forgiveness can be liberating and heal relationships. Just like the father in the prodigal son parable who joyfully welcomed his son back, we too can foster joy by choosing forgiveness over resentment. Living with intention also means being mindful of our words and actions each day. Before speaking or reacting, pause and ask yourself, does this reflect love? Am I treating others with respect? This practice encourages us to align our choices with God's love and reinforces our commitment to live as reflections of heaven. Additionally, let's make space for gratitude in our lives. Recognizing the blessings we have, even during tough times, helps shift our perspective towards positivity and enables us to appreciate the goodness that surrounds us. Consider keeping a gratitude journal where you jot down things you're thankful for each day. This practice can cultivate an attitude of thankfulness that radiates outwards. As we apply these teachings from Jesus into our lives, let's remember that change doesn't happen overnight, it's a journey filled with learning and growth. Each day presents new opportunities to embody His messages through kindness, service, forgiveness, and gratitude. In closing, let your heart be open to embodying these values as you move through your daily life. By intentionally integrating Jesus' teachings into your actions, you not only draw closer to Him but also help create an environment where heaven can flourish here on earth. Embrace this journey with joy and purpose. Let your life be a testament to love reflecting outwardly into the world around you. Together, we can spread light and hope while transforming ourselves and our communities through these powerful lessons. As we conclude our journey through the teachings of Jesus about heaven and hell, it's essential to leave you with an uplifting message that resonates with hope and love. Life can often feel burdensome, filled with struggles and moments of doubt. But remember, you are never alone in this journey. Jesus offers us a guiding light, a source of strength that is available to each one of us. Think for a moment about the love that Jesus demonstrated in His life, how He reached out to those who were lost, broken, or marginalized. His heart was always open to those in need, and He welcomed everyone with compassion. Just as He embraced the prodigal son and extended grace to the outcasts, He invites you to bring your struggles to Him. No matter where you find yourself today, there is always hope for a new beginning. You might be facing challenges that seem insurmountable, or perhaps you feel weighed down by guilt or resentment. It's easy to get lost in these feelings, but Jesus reminds us that there is freedom in forgiveness and healing in love. Whether it's reaching out to someone you've hurt or asking someone for forgiveness, each small step creates pathways toward peace and reconciliation. Additionally, let's remember the power of community. We thrive not just as individuals but as part of a bigger family, the body of Christ. Surround yourself with others who uplift you and share in your journey of faith. Engage with your community and seek opportunities to serve those who may need support. Each act of kindness strengthens that bond and allows us to experience snippets of heaven right here on earth. Reflect on the daily choices you make. Each one has the potential to lead you closer to God or create distance from Him. Choose love over hate, understanding over judgment, and compassion over indifference. Just like the Good Samaritan chose to help someone in need regardless of societal boundaries, let us strive to break barriers with acts of kindness that reflect the love of Christ. As we navigate our lives, let's also take time for gratitude. It can be easy to focus on what we lack or what burdens us. Instead, cultivate an attitude of thankfulness for the blessings that surround you, even in challenging times. When we focus on gratitude, we begin to see God's hand at work in our lives. In conclusion, let this message sink deep within your heart. You are loved beyond measure, and there is always hope for tomorrow. You are equipped with the strength and ability to reflect heaven's light into the world around you. Embrace faith as your foundation and allow Jesus' teachings to guide your every step, transforming your struggles into stepping stones toward growth. As we part ways today, carry this message with you: love profoundly, forgive freely, serve generously, and live intentionally. Together, let's illuminate this world with the warmth of divine love as we aspire towards creating a little piece of heaven here on earth. Your journey is just beginning.